Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jimmie Jackson. I am a local realtor here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I make these videos, real estate insight for buyers, sellers, and investors. I'm making this video because I want to just send these videos to let people know about my knowledge, my background, my credentials, and why they should work with me instead of constantly sending, messages all the time on Facebook. Um, websites and whatnot. So I figured I'd make a quick video, try to make it as fast as possible with giving out the information that I can. And my information is right on the bottom. You have my email, my phone number if you want to get a hold of me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show information about some houses and whatnot. First thing a lot of people are asking about a lot is mortgage rates. So I'm going to put this up real quick. Here's the mortgage rates as of August 20th, 2025. I like this website. It shows you, if you look, you have your 30-year fixed mortgage, your 15-year fixed, your 30-year jumbo, the 30-year VA, 30-year FHA. The 30-year FHA and the 30-year VA are government-backed lenders. That's why the interest rates are a little lower. They are willing to accept lower credit scores. So you're going to have a PMI, you're going to have a higher insurance payment on these two. Jumbo loans, you usually pay higher amount. Adjustable rate mortgages, they are mortgages that adjust. Kind of like if you look right here, let's say this is an adjusted, an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage. Let's click on it right here, 5-1 adjustable rate mortgage. You see how the mortgage changes? It adjusts. Yeah, it hits a high of 7 and then goes down to 6.1. This is where it's at right now. The rates. As the rates change, your payments will change, but they have to notify you within like 30 days that it's getting ready, or they have to notify you that there's changes that are coming to your interest rates. I can't remember the exact date. I'm not a mortgage lender, so I am taking my mortgage lending classes, but I'm not a mortgage lender, so legally I can't tell you. And that's a 5-year period. This is within the 1-year period. The blue is the NBA, and you can see it on the bottom. So, but anyways, people always ask about mortgage rates. That's about mortgage rates. I'm already 2.5 minutes, so I'm going not as fast as I wanted to. I don't want to hold people up on my videos. Another thing that I like to do, let me take this screen off and jump to another screen, is show these yields and bonds. What a lot of people don't really understand is that when you're doing the yields and the bonds, the yields, do I have this on the screen? Nope, I gotta put it on. Let me share this screen instead. Add to stage. When the yields are going up, whoops, sorry. All right, the treasury yields. When the treasury yields are rising, it is usually a higher interest rates among the economy. So the mortgage rates will often follow a 10-year. They often follow the 10-year treasury. So when the treasuries go up, the mortgage rates are going to go up as well. That's why when the interest rates drop down to 1%, that's generally because the economy is doing bad. So like during COVID, they went down to 1%. Well, the economy was doing bad. When the interest rates are going up, the economy is usually doing better. The impact, it's bad for home buyers because the mortgage rates are going to go higher. So it's going to be higher monthly payments for the same amount of the loan. If it's 500, 400, 300, $1 million cost of the house, the interest rates, if the interest rates are higher, then the monthly payments are going to be higher, even though the loan is the same amount. Less buyers are going to be able to afford the properties. Obviously, for home buyers and sellers, it's mixed because sellers aren't going to be able to sell. Some areas they might be able to sell faster, like Grand Rapids, Michigan, they're selling fast. So like these are things I like to pay attention to. So I'm not going to try to talk too much about that. It definitely affects investors too. I mean, if a person's holding their property too long, an investor might be kind of happy because then they can swoop in and offer lower prices. If someone's in situations where it's like, I can't sit here and wait for this property to sell for 6 months, they might just be like, all right, I'll take a lower price because I don't have, that much money that I owe on the property. If their mortgage balance is $0, the property is worth 500,000. They might take 400,000 or even 350 because they have to move to Florida for a new job, or they're going through a divorce, or they received the property from a parent. They don't have time to wait. So it could be good for investors. With the treasuries rising and bond yields when they increase, sometimes the stock prices can drop. So if you buy, you're catching them at a good time, because when it comes to mortgage and the REI, the real estate industry, I want to say the REIT, the real estate investment trust, they're going to go back up eventually. So it just depends on how long you can sit on your money and wait, pretty much. So yeah, that's that. That's that. Now I'm going to do a quick walkthrough on a property. So let's say we were looking at this property, and this is land. Let's say we wanted to buy land and we want to build a house. This land right here, 299,900. It's a property on water in Spring Lake. Okay, cool. Let's look at it really quick. I'm going to zoom in a little more. All right. I'm going to scroll through it. All right, let's check it out. It's on 0.62 acres. Rare building site situated on Inlet, Spring Lake, just north. The rich water, it's good for kayak launching. You can build a dock there, just off a bike path. Perfect central country club. You know what I mean? You can build your dream home right there. It's been on the market 137 days, only had 520 views. A lot of people aren't trying to look for land to buy it. It's not cheap to just go buy land. And there's really not that much information. They put it up for $50,000 more. So they reduced the property over the past. Yeah. So yeah, they reduced the property. Your taxes usually are always going to change when you buy the property because the price changes, the estimated monthly payments. Your estimated monthly payments are going to go by how much money you put down on your loan, depending on the type of loan you get. The 30-year, I don't know if you can get FHA on vacant land on property. I don't know if you can. So yeah, that's that. Now that we know about the property we're looking for, let's look at the Google map. I like this Google map. This Google map is pretty cool. Let's take this off. Let's pop this open. Let's stop this screen altogether. I want to find this Google map. I like this. It's the Google Earth intro. Let's share it. Let's bring it to the screen. Now, something like this is the same property. Let's zoom in. Oops. All right, sorry. Let me leave it like this. Let's just hit north. All right, let's zoom in. So as we zoom in, we can see what's around the property. So if you're like, hey, what's in the area? I don't want to drive out there, or I'm moving in from another state or something like that. You can look, and I'm not sure if you can. Yeah, you can see it. You have PJ Hoffman State Park. You have North Beach Park, Grand Haven State Park. You got Grand River right here. You got Fruitport not too far. Fruitport, Michigan Conservative Club over there. You have a golf. You have a golf course not too far. Let's see what else. I mean, you have a beach right there. That's not bad at all. Now let's get even closer into the property. Now look, you'll be right by this lake. So you would be right here. Let's get some more. Look at all of these docks. You definitely, if you got the money for this property, you got the money to build a dock. Let's see, in this vicinity. Let's go back to Zillow really quick and look at the exact parcel of land you'd be getting. Let's share this screen. All right. So this is what we have on Google Maps. Oh, it's this one right here. Wait, no, it's right on the water. Willows. Oops, I don't think I put in. Okay, we would have to go look and see exactly where the property is because there's not any numbers. What is it shaped like? Okay. What's next to it? It's in this vicinity because you see how this is like a I don't know what that angle's called. Like it's just like this where it's I can't think of what the term that you would call that. It's if you want to follow my mouse, it's like a circle, a wraparound. We'll just call it like a wraparound to the end. That's what this does too. It wraps around. Well, yeah. So yeah, and I don't even think you can see the Zillow map right now, can you? Nope. But yeah. Anyways, I could go over all this stuff with you. I don't want to redo this whole video again. I don't have the Zillow map up here, but you can see it. We would have to go look at it to confirm it's the exact same one because Zillow is showing the parcel, but you always want to go double check. So I'm pretty sure it is. We just want to make sure. Okay, now let's close this. Let's remove this from the screen. What else did I want to show? Let's go over a property really quick, just for fun. Let's say you wanted to find something in Grand Rapids. Actually, I'm going to share this Zillow screen. Share screen. Let's say you wanted to find something in Grand Rapids. Sale. 1 bathroom, 1.5 bath. Home type. Doesn't matter. Let's say you want house and multifamily and condos. So we have 8 results, for example. I'm sure there's more than 8 results. So let's say that we looked at this property. This was just listed 2 hours ago. I gotta add it to the screen. All right, let's see. Belmont, Michigan. This was just listed 2 hours ago. Okay. Well, first let's actually go back and let's bring it back up. Okay. So we want to look at this estimate price built in 1953. So we still have to do a lead-based paint on that. It's 1.02 acres. Let's see, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a ranch, brick ranch property that blends time with character. Okay. So we would go through all this information, the kitchen features. It's granite countertops, ample cabinet space, additional high bar counter, perfect for casual meals. The main bedroom. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is the information that I'll go through with you. It's located in Rockford School District, which is an amazing school district, ranked number 2 of 482 of the best school districts for athletes in Michigan, number 25 for best teachers, 34 for best places to teach. That's definitely a positive. It's been on the market for only 2 hours. It has 153 views and 4 saves. That's definitely a positive. Of course, there's the seller's disclosure we would also go over that has a lot of this information, but it's just a little more in depth. The heating is forced air, cooling, attic fan, central air, appliances that are included. So you get the dishwasher, the dryer, the microwave, the oven, range, washer, laundry is in the basement. Laundry in the basement. Features, you get ceiling fans, laminate, wood, flooring, windows, screens replacement, garden windows, window treatment. Basement is partial. Fire, you get 2 fireplaces in the living room and the recreational room. Total structure 1,300. Let's keep going. 2 total parking spaces. The dimension, let's keep going. There's your parcel number, your zoning description, residential. You're on a waterfront, river, body of river is the Grand River, single family ranch. I already went over this. There's your utilities, public sewer, water is public utilities for you. So the phone is available, natural gas connection, phone connected. So these are things that we would not obviously go over. Let's look at some photos really quick. So if you were working with me, these are things that, we would go over. Now, the property pictures, don't always go by the property pictures. We definitely need to look at it, see how everything looks. Like, look at this driveway. It's not bad, but you see how it looks like somebody just went over the cracks. What did they all go over the cracks with? Is it like... Hold on. I know you can get like black caulk. Did they just go over it with some black caulk just to cover it up? That wouldn't really be any good. Is that gonna last? You can get black concrete. Did they just you just want to know what they threw over this? Just to ask some questions. How old is that roof? The outside looks good. The yard looks good. When you're a seller, you want to prep the yard. Also, for my sellers out there, prep this yard. Make sure it's cut, looks good. Get a weed whacker. Just do some weed whacking around the property. So the front and the back, make the home look presentable. So when someone's walking through it, they can picture themselves living in the property. That's a mindset. When someone's walking through, they got to be like, I would like to live here. I can picture my kids, my family are coming home from work, watching football, falling asleep, watching football, cooking dinner. Don't just leave the property in a mess, because they're going to walk in. They're not going to think about the property. They're going to think about the owner and who the owner is and why the owner will leave the property in a certain condition. Like, who lives here? Why would they do this? They're going to question, if he's living like this, is he hiding things? What has he done to the dishwasher and things like that? If you make it family friendly when they walk in, they're not going to think about the owner. They're going to think about maybe would they want to buy it. Scrolling through the photos, I don't see anything. Everything looks good. The windows look good. Painting looks good. Floors look good. Here's the layout of the property. I'm not going to go through all of these. Basement. Layout of the basement. Not the garage. Looks like a shed. I didn't see anything to get back into a garage. Nice little deck. If you got a deck, decks don't last forever. They have issues. So you want to see how old this deck is. Water can get between these spaces in the decks. Older decks aren't as compatible and strong as new decks. You know, with the technology advances, how in the wood and all that stuff, there's all types of new things. How old is this up here the patio, when the deck turns into like that back patio? I want to say that door looks like it's old. You know what I mean? The property looks good though. Whoops, too fast. Looks good. I mean, these are just things you want to scroll through. What's going on up here? Like I said earlier, how old is that roof? Are all the electrical circuits on the outside good? The gutters, what do the gutters look like? Are they all cleaned out? Are the connections from the gutters so they run the water down? Are those taken care of? Of course, I mean, this is what you have inspections for. So I guess, it's not the realtor's job to look for all this stuff. These are what inspectors are for. But, you don't want to waste your time if you can find it yourself, essentially. There's your overall land. So that's all your land right there. What's back here? Ooh, that's nice. Looks nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. I said it was by the Grand River. So, yeah, that is that. A couple other things I wanted to go over with where is it? I just had it up here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off of the screen, and I'm just going to go over some things verbally. When you are getting a property, here are things you don't want to forget to check for when you're going with mortgage lenders. You have something called the Truth in Lending Act. It requires lenders to disclose key terms like your APR, your annual percentage rate, your interest rates, and your total finance charges. Just so you know, you have a 3-day right of recession for refinance loans. And when buying a house on primary residences, that means you have 3 days to change your mind, basically. RESPA is a Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. It prohibits like kickbacks for referral fees. So I can't talk to, as a realtor, I can't be like, hey, if you get a higher interest rate or if you sell someone a home, you can give me some money. It's it's like a good faith estimate or a loan estimate. That's something that they have to let you know that within 3 days of applying for the application, like what you're going to get. A lot of the other stuff is like, can't be racist. You have to let people know what's going on, like a Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. You have Michigan rules and regulations. You have like consumers protection rules that makes it so like predatory lending can't happen, like excessive fees, excessive interest rates, unclear loan terms, steering borrowers towards loans they can afford. If you see their interest rates are crazy high and they can't afford that mortgage from that lender with their debt to income ratio at that number, which they generally would want like a 43. If you're at like a crazy number and they know you can't afford that money, they shouldn't be giving you the home. They can't do nothing corrupt. That's how that's how lenders should work, especially it's required that they're licensed through the National Mortgage Licensing System, the NMLS. So these are just things that they have to comply with. Like there can't be no fraud, no prevention. They have to keep the records of things. They can't advertise corrupt things. That's where the Statute of the Lending Act comes in, because they have to always be honest about the interest rates and the loan terms. You have two things. You have a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. When you get these two, one is telling you like, this is what we think, or this is what you might be able to get. And the other is saying, okay, this is what the type of home you can go look for. So a loan estimate is like the provided accuracy to avoid delays, but and like as soon as you are approved, then you know for sure that you have the approval. So you can qualify and then you can actually approve. So that's things that you want to look for. First time home buying programs. You have MISHDA. That's you can get a 30-year fixed. You can get down payment assistance of up to $10,000. You can get, but you have income limits on things like that. You can't just be rich and be like, can I get $10,000 to get help buying a home? Your credit score, they wanted you around 620. You have the Michigan down payment assistance, DPA. It helps cover payments and closing costs, typically up to 6% of the home, or a flat fee of $10,000. There's repayment programs. Some programs are forgivable, and they give you a certain amount of years if make sure the buyer is living in the home. You have something called Michigan Next Home. It's who's in it is repeat buyers, but it also includes first-time home buyers. It provides financial help for buyers who may not qualify for standing loans. It can pair up MISHDA mortgage and USDA and FHA loans. You have a Michigan Homeownership Assistance Program, and not all lenders offer these programs. Every lender has their own system. Federal systems that the government has is FHA, as low as 3% down. Your credit score can be as low as a 580. They're easier qualification for first-time home buyers, but you must do a PMI, private mortgage insurance, just like I said on the when I first started with the mortgage rates. USDA, zero down, moderate income, varies by every different county, no down payment, competitive rates, but you can only move in so many locations. So it's like a location restriction. VA is for the veterans, zero down, active, they're veteran or active duty. PMI on that one too, meet military requirements. You got HUD, good neighbor next door for teachers, firefighters, police, EMT, up to 50% off home purchase. Must commit to living in the property for 36 months. Mortgage credit certificate, federal tax credit up to 20% mortgage interest paid annually. Practical tips for clients: start with MSDH, check for USDA. That's what the steps that I would take. Check for MISHDA, see with that 10,000. Look for USDA next. Find where you can live in certain locations. And put the two together and see what you can do. Sellers, like I said, make sure you're clean, get repairs, make sure there's upgrades, because then a buyer who qualifies for an FHA or VA or government-backed loan can get in there. You want your curb appeal, like I said, the lawns, the get a power wash if it looks all nasty on the outside. Make sure that we're setting up the right price so it don't sit on the market forever. You put it at a decent price, you might get people in bidding wars. You want, great photos. You want to have great marketing, Zillow, Realtor.com, social media, local groups, flyers, postcards, open houses. Because you can't just assume that buyers notice the features. Either point out your, that's my job, obviously, but to point out your high quality appliances. Like 2025, there's refrigerators who are like, high tech, and ovens that are high tech, and Wi-Fi that's high tech. If you have those things, point them out. Make sure you point them out. Smartphone devices, renovated bathrooms and kitchens, great schools. If you're a seller, make sure that those things are all being talked about. Good negotiation and selling tips, make the home accessible, and be flexible with the showings. Like, I can't do all day Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, bro, I mean, you got to make time. Go to the park, go to the mall, go do something that just takes time so a person like myself can show the property. Make sure you understand the disclosure and the transparency. Don't overreact to low offers. Be like, nah, I don't want it. Don't be like, don't feel disrespected. Um, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of that. I want to pre qualification for pre-approval, loan estimate, disclosings. You have 3 days. Um, your escrow account. So when you set up your escrow account, the lender typically requires escrow accounts for taxes and insurance. The buyer pays one monthly payment that includes your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So your insurance is your homeowners or sometimes flood. Principal and interest are they pay down your mortgage, taxes, and insurance. They are collected by your lender and held in the escrow. Some lenders pay for this account automatically. Taxes can increase monthly, so that can change your monthly mortgage payment because it's going to escrow also. Sometimes buyers can make annual adjustments if escrow has surplus or shortage. Taxes and insurance and um, who pays what at the closing to the buyer and the seller, just to throw this out there. Property taxes, buyer prorated from closing date, from the day you close forward, prorated to the closing date from January 1st to June 3rd. If that's when you close, the seller pays it from June 3rd on, the buyer's taking over the taxes. Homeowners insurance usually pays the first year up front. That's the buyer. Loan fees and points, pays origination, processing fee, that is the buyer. Title insurance, the buyer usually pays lender's title policy. The seller usually pays owner's title policy. HOA fees, if you have HOA fees, if you're moving into an area that has HOAs, prorated from closing date for the buyer, prorated to close from the closing date that you close, you prorate that up to the closing date, the June 3rd, up to the closing date, the seller does. Recorded fees and transfers, the buyer, the seller, sometimes they share. Escrow deposit is all the buyer's funds, nothing to do with the seller. The repairs agreed in the contract, the seller pays pre-agreed. If they did, that's only if they had a mutual agreement. When you're putting it all together for a buyer, you have to know your budget, get your loan estimates, make an offer, see what, we have to put it in an offer, see if the seller's willing to take it. From a seller's perspective, know the price you want, know the comps in your area, know what you're willing to take. Don't be too greedy, be patient. Remember, you have things like seller's concession. When you do a seller's concession, you're not really losing money. You're taking a higher price, and then you're paying things like closing costs and down payments for the buyer. So you're still getting the same amount. You're just doing better negotiation. Some sellers just don't understand that for some reason. Review closing, all the disclosures they're reading and close. Make sure that you know the escrow for the buyer. Make sure that you know where all the funds are going for the seller. You're going to get your check, and then you will be good to go. And that is pretty much it, man. So when you're working with me, we'll have everything written down. I can help you with land. I can help you with multifamily. I can help you with residential. We can do mobile homes. We can do ranch style homes. We can do anything you want. Grand Rapids or Keller Williams, Grand Rapids North. If I sent you this video, once again, you can only see it if I send it to you. It's not a public video. It is a private video. Sorry I went so long, 34 minutes, but instead of having to sit down and talk with a lender, you're still gonna have to talk with a lender regardless, but talking with a bunch of people, I sent you tons of information that hopefully opens your mind more broad, and you know more about buying a house. I'd love to definitely work with you, help you out. It's all about patience. When you want to see a house, we set up the showing times, and then we start looking around. If you want to work with me with also take you to Grand Rapids North, Keller, Williams. You sit down and we go over, paperwork, so we can start showing homes and we can get the ball rolling and help you find the property of your dreams. So, like I said, I just started making this video, or just learned to put all this together on my own. So let me know what you think about it. Give me your tips, your advice. So thank you for making it to the end. And if you have any tips and advice, like I said, put it in the comments. I need to let me see if, sorry. Nope, I can't add any comments myself. Okay. Sorry, I'm just seeing if I can add comments. Anyways, if you made it this long, I hope you have a blessed day. God bless. Send this to your friends and family. Send this anywhere and tell anyone you know. If you want a realtor, you want to work with a realtor, you want to know how to buy a house, the steps, the procedures. Let me tell you this also. The steps and procedures of buying a house, if you get I have access to tons of lenders. Hit me up, and you have to do a step-by-step process. That pre-approval and pre-qualification. All they're going to do is run your credit and say, hey, yes, you can buy a house. No, you can buy a house. If the answer is yes, then you're going to get pre-approved. Yes. Pre-approved or pre-qualified. I mix those. I'm dyslexic. I'm not going to lie. I mix those two up. And we can start looking for a house. If a pre-approval or a pre-qualification, we can start looking for a house. Either way, you can start looking for a house. If he tells you no, he'll tell you the steps you need to take to get a property. So let's say you're off, but your credit score is like 15 points off. I can help you. I can tell you how to fix your credit just to get 15 more points. Or if you need to save a little more money, a lender can be like, hey, you're almost at the finish line. Here's the steps that you need to take. It's good to have a to-do list. So if you really want a property and you're really serious about getting a property, get a to-do list and say, hey, I'm going to have this done. If it's January, say, hey, I'm going to have this done by May. I'm going to be in a property, me, my kids, my family, maybe just you. Say, I'm going to be in a property by July. The only way to reach success in any goals you have is to be patient. Or else you'll never reach your goals. You'll get distracted. You'll get sidetracked. So meet with a lender. It's not nothing bad. Okay? It's just like meeting with one of your friends to get lunch. He'll just say, yes, you can get a property. No, you can. Or yes, you qualify. No, you qualify. And if the answer is no, this is what you need to do. And this is how long it might take you to get there. Getting a house takes a long time. Even when you qualify, the inspections, the appraisal, setting up to go to the title, it could take a month. Even when the buyer or the seller accepts the property, it still might take you an entire month just before you close. And something could fall between that day and your closing day. The seller could back out. The buyer could back out. They could find something wrong with the property. The inspector could find something wrong with the property. The buyer could go get a credit card, mess up their credit on day 2. On the second to last day that you're going to close for the sellers. You never know. It's always jumping through loopholes. But once you finish it and you sell your property and you get that check and you go buy another property or move or whatever you're doing, it's the best feeling in the world. And once you buy a property and you move into that property, you're ready to start a new life. It's the best feeling in the world also. So let me know. Sorry the video was so long, but I filled you up with information. So let me know if you want to work with me, and have a blessed day.